Okay, I'm back now. Just let me know if my audio is clear on your side. Let me know quickly if my audio is clear on your side. Okay, thank you, Zakele Kumalo, for the signal. Is my audio clear? No disturbance, no background noise, nothing. Is everything clear on your side? I've got my fan on in the office here. I hope it doesn't distort the sound. Please let me know, Zakele, if the fan does not disturb the sound. I hope it doesn't. It does, but it's not bad. Okay, thank you so much. So let us continue with the presentation that I want to share with you. Embracing the future of independent innovation. I think what I need to make you cognizant of is the fact that dispensations do change, times do change. Primitively, if you look at how our great grandparents used to live in the past, it's not how we live today, because times have unfolded, times have changed, times have unraveled. And this is the nature of times, because as we continue to live, people evolve. And when people evolve, they are going to then capture new ideologies, develop new concepts, develop new products, develop new ways of doing things. It is within the human potential and within the human power and capacity to do so. So I have this presentation that I give in the corporate just to get the employees inclined to the times we are living in, to get them inclined to how things are done, particularly within the space of education. That's where I give this presentation mostly, because in the past, the teachers used to work using papers. But as times are advancing, it is becoming the era of paperless work. And then if the employees or the teachers are not inclined to the systems of today, to the current techniques, methodologies, modus operandi of doing things, then they are going to be laid back. They are going to fall behind in terms of performance. And we call such workers or employees laggards. You are a laggard when you fall behind in performance compared to your peers. So as you know that when we are talking about the dimensions of feedback, there is also what we call peer review, where your performance is reviewed by your peers. And they don't have to be in close proximity or in a formal setup to give you feedback, but their performance that exposes your incapacitation, your ignorance, your naivety, it's feedback already to your performance. It exposes your lack, it exposes your incapacitation. So very key that we all set our minds to embrace this future that is current for us that are living in this generation. It is no longer the future, but it is current, that we are living in the digital age. So technology has redefined human creativity and efficiency. So in the past, it was the human brain that used to do all the work. So everything that gets to be written was straight from the mind of a human being. Everything that gets to be introduced as a concept or as a new way of doing things was straight from the brain and the mind of a human being. But today, in the digital technology age where we are living, things are no longer as they were before. Now, technology itself can introduce to us concepts, services, systems, techniques by which we need to live as human beings. So it is no longer 100% or holistic determination or dictation from the brain of a human being, but things have now changed. We are living in the era where technology in the digital age makes certain decisions for us. And the example would be if you and I are having a chat, let's say for an example about KFC. Have you realized the example about KFC? Have you realized that when you go into your Facebook account, the ad that will emerge or appear there will be an ad by KFC? Because technology has picked up what we were talking about, and now it presents it before your eyes, because it tells that you have interest in this product. That's why you were talking about it. So technology is taking over. In these days, in certain instances and events, we are no longer using those big cameras which we used before in the past. Now it is cell phones that are taking clear and quality videos in events, in sessions. The editing is no longer done in the computer. It's done on the phone. Now there's millions of apps that have now been developed because of technology that are replacing certain contraptions or machineries, equipment that we used to rely and depend on in the past. So because the things have changed, the times have changed, we have to adapt. I don't want to use the heavy words of saying we must also change, but I want to use the lenient words and say we must adapt to the change that is engendered and brought about by technology in the digital age. So artificial intelligence, it's still intelligence. We may call it artificial, but it is still intelligence. And the truth of the matter is that this intelligence, it's also beyond and above the intelligence of some human beings. It has redefined human creativity and efficiency. We have young people today that are in the academia that are so independent and reliable on the artificial intelligence. And when they present their assignments, when they present their papers, when they present their work to, their lecturers, their professors, they get the marks that were worked on by artificial intelligence. What does that do to those that rely and depend solely on artificial intelligence. Their minds, their brains are clouded. Their brains are caged within the cave of naivety and ignorance. So if you give them platform to do things for themselves, by themselves, without the help of AI, they will be unable to produce the same excellence that AI has produced for them. Hence, I am saying that we may call it artificial intelligence, but it is still more intelligent than some of the brains and the minds of human beings. So very key and important that as we partner, as we join together our brains with the artificial intelligence, we should never let down or let loose the muscles of our thinking, the muscles of the depths of our thoughts. Because if we do so, we are rendering ourselves as mediocres compared to artificial intelligence. So the intelligence that's artificial, we are then going to regard it as superior intelligence to our intelligence as human beings. Hence, I am saying that you can partner with AI because it is the digital age, but don't let AI take over your human creativity, your human intelligence. So very key that we continue as human beings to use the greater capacity of our brains and of our minds, of our thinking. We should not let that muscle to be loose. Now, because it is the age of speed and innovation, what is then required? Speed of thought is required. Hence, you see in the previous slide, let me go back to the previous slide. I talk about the speed of thought there. Speed of thought. Because things are as fast as your mind has never imagined. Your mind and your brain needs to catch up to the speed and the innovation of technology today. Now, with that kind of a mind setting, with that kind of thinking, you have then programmed your mind to pursue the capacity and the intelligence of technology to match the speed of the thinking of AI, artificial intelligence. So you never allow your brain and your mind to be overwhelmed by the robot of artificial intelligence. This is just a robot doing the work for you. So what more when you use your natural capacity of thought to think through ideologies, to think through solutions to the challenges that are facing you in your space, you then will be able to push and propel your capacity of thinking to be a greater capacity of thinking, so that you become the one that can instruct technology on what technology has got to do for you, instead of allowing technology to do things on your behalf without your involvement. So I want us to read what is on your screen there. The first point I have there says, in today's world, speed is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. Speed is not just an advantage, it's a necessity. If it's a necessity, then everybody has got to adhere and subscribe to speed of thought in this day and age. If you don't subscribe and adhere to speed of thought in this day and age, you will be a performance laggard. You will fall behind in performance. And as I always say, that if you fall behind in performance, you stand with the temptation of developing jealousy towards those who overtake you and transcend you in terms of performance. And jealousy is the highest grade or standard you attend before witchcraft. So let's look at the second statement in the slide. From rapid technological advancements to AI, efficiency and innovation are leading the charge in business and society. So in society and business, there is transformation. There is a legit change that is transpiring. So technology is already on its feet. Technology is already advanced. What remains is for you to match your thinking at the level, the space, the speed, the capacity of technology, so that technology does not overtake you, but you at least need to be at the same point with technology or advance more than technology, because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. As technology keeps on advancing, it's like fashion. You know that fashion comes and goes, but it re-emerges again after some time. So some of the things that we are priding ourselves as today's fashion, it has been there before. The people of the past used to wear the same things we are wearing today, which we think they are modern attires or modern textiles, but it's attire of the past. So technology will come and go, but it may re-emerge in the future. Imagine technology re-emerging in the future and find your brain and your mind still in the same place, space, and capacity of thinking. It means that you will not have made an intentional effort to advance, enhance, and accelerate your thought processes, your thought patterns to gain charge and relevancy in the current state of things today. We are in that age of speed and innovation. So let us look now at why speed of thought matters. Why speed of thought matters. Why do we have to talk about speed of thought more than we have done in the past? Now, number one, it is because the modern world demands quick strategic thinking. The modern world demands quick strategic thinking. So if your thinking is rigid and it's not flexible, it is not strategic, technology will transcend you. Technology will surpass you. You will be a victim of circumstances instead of having authority and power over the circumstances. So as a human being, you'll find yourself victimized by robotic intelligence. So we need speed of thought. It matters today. And how do we gain speed of thought? You need to read more than you have read before. You need to develop yourself personally more than you have done before. Because this modern world demands, it requires quick and strategic thinking. So strategic thinking, it's when your thinking goes beyond and above the norm. Your thinking goes beyond and above and outside common thinking. You think with creativity, you think, you develop plans, you implement plans, you develop strategies, you implement strategies. Because traditional thinking processes, their time have passed. Traditional thinking processes cannot keep pace with the ever-evolving technological landscape. It is true. Number three, decisions and innovations now need to be almost instantaneous in industries like technology, finance, and healthcare. The way things are going today, you need superiority of thinking, superiority of mind, because things need instant solutions, instant creativity to be implemented. And if you have not trained your mind and your brain to think at the speed of producing instant ideologies, instant solutions to the challenges faced by yourself in your space, then you are laid back. So I want to go to the next slide as we continue with our slides. Now you need to break free, loose yourself from what I call tedious and mundane thinking. This is slow and ponderous way of thinking, which when we go back to the era and the age of human thinking only without technology, it was tedious, it was mundane, it was slow thinking, but we did not know that is a slow thinking because there was no advanced technology that exposes the slowness of thought that we possessed. But today, with advanced technology, enhanced technology, AI, digital age, then we know that our thinking in the past was a slow thinking. It was a tedious and mundane thinking. Therefore, we have a responsibility and accountability before ourselves to challenge the speed of our thinking. So look at the first point there on the slide. It says old methods. I'm sorry if the words are too small for you, but you can zoom on your side. Old methods of thinking, slow processes, and manual interventions can no longer keep up. You know, just recently, as I was scrolling my social networks, I got to encounter a new printer that does not need you to plug it on anything. It is just a small printer, portable. You go with it, with your paper. If you want to print something from your phone, it's Bluetooth connected. You just put that paper on that portable printer, then it prints on that paper. You don't need to go to the internet cafe anymore because old methods can no longer keep up with the improvement of technologies today, with the improvement of the artificial intelligence. The digital age is upon us. We have to embrace it, we like it or not. We have to embrace the digital age. It is upon us. It is like time, the 24 hours of time granted to us by our Creator God. It controls all of us. That's why this terminology or concept of time management, it's actually not the ability to control time, but it is the ability to control your priorities within time, because you can't control time, it controls you. You can't say, I'm going to have 25 hours of the time. There's no way. It gives you 24 hours and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Because you are under the authority and the tyrannical power of the time. So technology is the same. If we don't keep up, we fall behind in performance. Tedious thinking methods often stifle creativity and reduce productivity. So your slow way of thinking, it chokes your potential to perform at peak. It chokes your potential to be productive. You become average in performance when you've got the potential and the ability to be excellent in performance. So you have to challenge your thinking to think fast, to think at a high speed. You know, if it was the situation of a car on the road, we will say at 240 kilometers per hour. That's how your mind needs to think in this digital age, so that your potential is not choked. Your potential is not stifled. You still remain productive. You still excel, even in the midst of the challenges brought about by technology. Businesses that fail to adapt to rapid change face extinction or death or disappearance or dissipation. If you are a business, if you are an organization that fails to adapt to the rapid change in the digital age, you are facing extinction, disappearance, dissipation. You are going to be obsolete, not needed product or service anymore, because you have fallen behind through your mundane and ponderous thinking. So, the role of AI in driving speed and efficiency. I want us to read the 3 points on the screen. The first one, AI and new technologies are empowering us to think faster and achieve more. This is what I have been saying in the previous slide. Technologies like machine learning, robotics, data analytics allow for automation of tasks that were once human dependent. The very same thing I've been saying, that in the past dispensation, in the past age, everything, the tasks were dependent on human potential and human capacity. But technology has taken over through machine learning, robotics, and data analytics. So tasks are just automated. Whatever that you want to achieve today, it's like you just press a button. It is achieved within a split second. So if we don't keep up with technology, imagine what will become of us in the near future, as it is the nature and the landscape of technology to keep advancing. It does not stop, brothers and sisters. Technology does not stop because you are not pursuing it. It keeps advancing. It keeps being enhanced because it is within its digital nature to advance, to be enhanced, and to accelerate. So look at the point number 3. Examples: autonomous production lines, AI-powered decision-making, and real-time data analysis that outperform human capabilities. So it is true that AI is taking over. And if we don't adapt as businesses, if we don't adapt as individuals, we stay defeated. We are faced with extinction or natural death of our human ideas, natural death of our business ideas. So the new era is producing without humans. Let's read the 3 points on the screen. Number 1, production can now be independent of human intervention. You can produce, for an example, books of authors in hundreds of thousands within an hour because of technology. In the past, it was not so. But today, you just press the machine and say start. You go and sleep. You come back tomorrow, 10,000, 100,000 copies of books are already produced from one machine. Imagine that the machines are doing such excellent and great work more than us as human beings. Automation and AI technology can create products, deliver services, and innovate without human involvement in the execution phase. Examples: AI in software development, content generation, and creative tasks like art and music. Please hold on for me on that slide as I get a drink quickly. But do you see how the demand to enhance our thinking, it's no longer negotiable? It's no longer negotiable. We are bound to adapt. So adaptivity is key. We need to teach our employees adaptivity. We need to teach as leaders our followers adaptivity. Because if they don't adapt, they stay behind. So let's look at the real world examples of AI in action. So these concepts are already taking shape in various industries. Healthcare, number one. A diagnosis and treatment recommendations. Everything is now digital. In some of the instances, you don't even need to be injected and your blood is extracted from you so that it can go to the lab and we can know what's the diagnosis of your health. No. Today, you may just speak into a machine. It picks up your voice. It has picked up everything in your system. Healthcare is advanced. Autonomous vehicle and drones replacing traditional human-driven models. Have you seen that people now use drones to take videos in the sky, to take videos in high levels of buildings, and then they produce, clips that are so professional. You don't have to climb the trees today with your old version of a camera and take those clips. Drones will do the work. Drones can travel kilometers and kilometers of distances. So you may be sitting where you are and you can be able to peep into the lives of the people that are many kilometers away from you without you going there physically. Technology is advanced and we need to keep up. We need to keep up. Look at self-driving vehicles today. Who would have ever thought that a vehicle can drive itself from one destination to another? It's happening today. Even in South Africa, there are cars that are self-driving. One of my cars is not self-driving, but it has this steering, advanced help or whatever you call it. So if I sleep, my car will brake itself, will stop itself if there is an object before it. That's how technology is advanced. We need to keep up. We need to keep up. We cannot remain ignorant. The future is speed, independence, and transformation. Please write it down. The future is speed, independence, and transformation. If you don't keep up with speed, you are not part of the future. If you are not independent in thinking, you are not part of the future. If you don't adapt through transformation, you are not part of the future. So as we continue embracing AI, the speed of thought will be the new benchmark for success. If there is a requirement for success in this digital age, that is human independent. Speed of thought is the requirement. Speed of thought is the benchmark. Human creativity still drives innovation, but execution and implementation are increasingly led by AI. So your brain still is creative. But today, if you have to implement creativity, you're gonna need AI to implement and execute your creativity. That's how it is. Today, if you have a business plan, for your business plan to be attractive, to fascinate your donors, your sponsors, your financiers, then AI needs to implement and execute the plan that your human mind has created. This shift may lead to new industries and disrupt existing ones. Brothers and sisters, you like it or not, gear up, be ready, prepare yourself for new industries that are coming. And they are going to replace the industries we are already accustomed to. It's already happening. You have to adapt. You have to keep up. with the pace and the speed. You have no other option but to keep up. Now, to stay ahead in an increasingly automated and fast-paced world, organizations must embrace speed and rethink traditional thinking. The speed of thought is not just about quick decisions, it's about creating systems that enable fast, autonomous innovation powered by AI and technology. Let me go to the next slide quickly. Okay, I did not want this one of questions and answers. That was the first presentation. No one can take over spaces with slow thinking, mundane thinking. Let's look at the changing landscape. Technologies and AI shows that production can occur independent of humans. Spaces once dominated by human routine are now automated. Now look at, for an example, in South Africa, in the context of our country. We still have petrol attendants. But when you apply your thinking, what is the future? What is the future of petrol? We're not going to have petrol attendants in the near future. In America already, there are no petrol attendants. You pour petrol on your own. So with the technology that is emerging, human routine, it's slowly being replaced by technology. So very soon, you will just go into a filling station and you just tap your card. Your car takes in petrol because you don't know what's coming. Technology is so advanced and advancing that it will keep on shocking us. For the many years that are coming, I tell you now, technology will keep on shocking us. Everything these days depreciates. It's no longer cars only that depreciate in value. Everything depreciates because technology is taking over. And as it takes over, it is replacing everything we depended on. So to remain relevant as human beings, individuals must bring unique value. What value are you bringing in today's age? What value are you bringing to the digital age? I'm going to ask this question again. What value are you bringing? In other words, what is the idea that can form part of the development of technology in the digital age? Are you just going to subscribe to everything that is brought about from nowhere, from the people you don't even know? It means you are not applying your brain, you are not applying your mind. So think about what is it that you can bring as an ideology, as a value in the digital age to remain relevant yourself. Because as an individual, you are being replaced by technology. So to remain relevant, you must bring value, bring value, bring value, bring value. I want us to look at the human edge, the human technique, the human system. I know that this slide may not be too visible, especially the two points there, but I'll read it for you. The human edge is expedition and promptitude. It separates the average people from exceptional people. So if you are going to be exceptional in this day and age, you need speed of thought. You need promptitude. You need promptitude. You need expedition, fastness of thinking, so that you don't become an average commoner, but you become exceptional and phenomenal. Agility enables leadership without formal titles. When you are an agile thinker, a fast thinker, you don't depend on titles to remain relevant, but you depend on the implementation of your agile thoughts. An agile mind manufactures solutions faster than rigid systems. So if the systems that are provided currently in your space of work and performance are providing solutions, agile thinking and agile mind can produce solutions faster than the rigid systems. So let me give an example with the space that I mostly occupy, education. If there's a system that your learning material is to be provided by the Department of Education in order for the teachers to teach the learners, that's a system and it's rigid. It is like that. It has been like that for the past years. If you depend on that system and you don't depend on your agile system and you don't depend on your agile system and you don't depend on your agile thinking, if the department delays to deliver learning materials, it means that your schedule to teach is already behind. Your learners are already behind in terms of catching up with syllabus. So an agile mind will then think of the disposal technology that is here, which is AI. You look at the curriculum of the grade that you are teaching, and you extract from AI some of the lessons that you could be teaching as you wait for the learning materials from the department. That is fast thinking. So that when the material comes, your learners are already ahead of the material. But if your mind does not think with agility, you will wait for the rigid systems, which may delay your learning. I want us to then look at the vertical and lateral thinking, choosing the right mode for better solutions. Lateral thinking is the traditional thinking. Vertical thinking is the creative thinking. So why it matters now? Why it matters now? Automation and AI handles routine, linear tasks at scale. So there's always growth where AI is involved. There's always multiplication of results. And it handles routine in a short space of time and in a finer, detailed manner. Human advantage is how we frame problems and generate options. So the advantage we have is how we frame problems or think about problems and we generate options. So coin has two sides. If you are faced with the side of the problem, it does not mean that there is no side of the solution. If you turn the coin around, you are going to find the other option. Mastering multiple thinking modes raises speed, quality, and originality. Now let's look at vertical thinking very quickly. What is the focus of vertical thinking or creative thinking? The focus, it's logic, analysis, established knowledge. The aim of vertical thinking, direct, single best solution. The method, it's a step-by-step systematic progression. And its characteristics, it is evidence-based, rule-following, and it is consistent. The strengths and the limitations of vertical thinking. The strength, it's clear logic, it is efficient in known domains, consistent results. That's the strength of vertical or creative thinking. The limit, slow to reframe problems because it looks mostly on solutions. Misses alternatives, optimizes locally. Lateral thinking, the vertical thinking is the traditional thinking. I've been saying creative thinking. Lateral thinking is the opposite, it's creative thinking. So the focus is creativity, innovation, unconventional approaches. The aim is to generate new possibilities by challenging existing assumptions. Method is by brainstorming, analogy, connecting unrelated concepts. You need creativity there. Now, the characteristics, it's imaginative, novel, idea generating. That is about lateral thinking. Let's look at the strengths and limits quickly. It breaks ruts, it reveals hidden opportunities, it drives differentiation. That's the strength of lateral or creative thinking. The limit is that ideas may start vague, there's a risk of divergence, and it needs validation. Let's look at this metaphor, the whole problem. So the vertical or traditional thinking says you dig the same hole deeper, thorough exploration. The lateral says dig a different role, explore new solutions. I think this is self-explanatory. When to use vertical or lateral thinking? Vertical thinking, use it when there are clear requirements, regulated domains, optimization tasks, and the lateral thinking when there are ambiguous and unclear, vague problems, equivocal problems, paradox, when there's a need for breakthrough, plateaued solutions. So problems or challenges that have reached the ceiling and there's a plateau, there's inertia. You need to have solutions there. So that's when you use that one. I'm getting very exhausted now. And I still have many slides. So I'm just going to end on this slide. A practical hybrid from diverge to converge. You know that convergence, it's when there's connections of systems of things that have been traveling different directions. There's that connection. Okay? Frame and diverge. This is lateral thinking. Generate many options. And the vertical thinking, cluster and choose, apply evidence to filter. Vertical thinking, test and tighten, which is plot and refine. Repeat intentionally, switch between modes. So from traditional way of thinking to the lateral way of thinking. This is what this slide actually deals with. The lateral techniques you can use, this will be the second of last. Lateral techniques you can use, creative way of thinking that you can use, brainstorming with constraints. So whenever there are limitations and constraints, use brainstorming as a methodology or technique that you can use to achieve lateral thinking. SCAMPER method, there's a slide that explains the SCAMPER. So this is just an abbreviation. Probably when I do the next live broadcast, I will show you what SCAMPER is. But meantime, you can Google it. It's information on the internet. So you use analysis or analogy and forced connections. So you connect the dots most of the time with lateral thinking. You bust assumptions. Random techniques. So you apply your creativity in building up to the solution that is required. Let's take this one as the last slide. The traditional thinking for convergence. Decision matrices and scoring, that's what you use. evidence reviews and quick experiments, risk and dependency mapping, checklists, and standards. That is what you use for your traditional way of thinking. Hey, I'm exhausted now. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed. We still have 12 slides that I will present in the next live broadcast. But for now, please drop me a comment. Tell me what this presentation has done to you. What impact has it had on you? Give me your feeling about this presentation of embracing technology and innovation in the digital age. That's what we had been dealing with from the beginning. If you enjoyed the presentation, please drop me a comment. I will take the next 30 seconds reading your comments here. Let's go, shoot. I want to read your comments now. I want to read your comments. I'm ending the broadcast. But I want to read your comments. What is your feeling about the presentation? My 30 seconds is being exhausted. If I don't see comments, I'm going to then end the broadcast. But let me go back and see if there are people who commented. There were 2 messages in the past, which I missed because I was presenting. Please drop me comments, which I will read very quickly. Drop me comments, which I will read very quickly. Drop me comments. In few seconds, I'm ending the broadcast. Let me hear from you how the presentation was to you. Oh, I see there's 6 messages. I missed them. Let me quickly see. 7 messages. Your presentation is the eye-opener. That is from Jetli 1231. Thank you so much for that feedback. I really appreciate it. Where are the other ones? It's technology. The same thing I was talking about. Now I'm looking for comments. I have to scroll back. You know what? I will check them out when I've ended this. And then Nkululeko Maposa says, thank you, sir. I learned that there is traditional way of thinking and lateral thinking. I like lateral. Me too, Nkululeko. I like the lateral thinking because it speaks to our creativity and innovation as human beings, so that we don't fall behind in terms of catching up with AI and the digital age. All right, friends, thank you so much for being part of my presentation. I would recommend that you suggest us to your employer if you are employed, so that we can come and teach about this to your employees at work. Because everybody needs to adapt. We have no other option but to adapt to the digital age. We have to get proliferation of results in this digital age through adaptivity or adaptation. So please recommend us. I'll give you our email address. Please jot it down very quickly. It is office@parexcellencesa.co.za. office@parexcellencesa for South Africa.co.za. That is office@parexcellencesa.co.za. And I'll give you our office number as well. It is 075 294 2504. 075 294 2504. Recommend us to your HR managers, learning and development practitioners at work, to your immediate managers, to your CEOs, so that we can come to your organization and give this same presentation to you and your team at work, so that everybody adapts to the new way of doing things. Because if you become a performance laggard, you remain behind. You are transcended by your peers. I wish you a good Sunday. God's speed, God's favor, God's acceleration. Become the best version of yourself, more than you were yesterday. Keep winning, and God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Let me end it.